All right, guys, happy Wednesday. It is our week one of our June new coach training. I know that it says Melanie on the corner. I couldn't change that, but my name is Megan. I am leading our week one calls. I am rotating this role with Melanie, Katie, and Taylor Molinterno. So you'll get to hear from a different person each week as we walk through the basics of getting your business launched, started, off the ground, and running. So I'm excited to be able to talk to you guys about the first things that you can expect as you get started. If you guys want to drop in the chat, you can let me know. Is this your very first time hopping on one of these calls? Are you a brand new coach? Have you been through coach training and you're going through a refresher? Wherever you are, just kind of helps me know as I can tailor things as we're going to be able to fit your needs best. But I do have some slides that I'm going to use to help us stay on track so I don't get to gabbing too much and miss things. So again, welcome here. A few things that we're going to be going over as we go through this call is really your month one goals, understanding the BAT, which is the business activity tracker. You'll find there's a bunch of acronyms that are used. I feel like that's any business, any company. So business activity tracker, the Success Club tracker is going to be your go-to reference for building this business. We can talk about creating your posts, inviting, which is the hugest, that's not a word, the biggest part to actually growing your business. Making sure you guys understand that sales can be a really great thing. And we're going to end with a little story about the coffee. So moving on, getting things started, your very first month one goals. The biggest thing I want you guys to do is earn your investment back. The first thing that you will hear through different trainings, it's all going to be about Success Club, but it all comes back to getting your first 3 people enrolled. Getting your first 3 people enrolled with a challenge pack or Shakeology and into your boot camp does a few things. For one, you get Success Club points for every new coach or new customer that enrolls with either a challenge pack or Shakeology HD, and there's a couple other things, but those are the big things that are going to enroll. Every person with one of those things, the challenge pack or the Shakeology, will get you 2 Success Club points. But also, generally speaking, you're going to earn about 40, 50 bucks with each person, which will also earn you back your investment. So the goal is at the end of the month that this didn't cost you anything, and now you have the foundation of this potentially 5, 6, 7-figure business at your hands that you didn't have to take out a loan like other companies did. You don't have to invest in the inventory, and you have all of this at your fingertips. I always recommend getting that first list down of who are the people who are going to be your first customers. I often refer to it as the dirt list, and the dirt list is the people who would come and buy dirt from you just because they love you that much. So maybe it is your spouse, your parents, your best friend, a sibling. The first 2 people that you enroll as coaches under you gets you into what we call Emerald City, and it's the very first rank advancement as a coach. I know in the beginning I was overthinking this, and the very first customer that I enrolled was my sister. My sister's active duty military, and I remember seeing and reading and hearing somewhere along the line that active duty, as well as spouses of active duty or veterans and spouses of a veteran, they can actually become coaches for free. So when I first heard this, I reached out to my sister and I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. I think you would love it. Can you be my first customer? So clearly I wasn't doing anything about like what you'll do to like publicly to other people. I'm not just going to tell you to publicly go post on your social media, hey, come do this. But to my sister, I could do that because she already knows me and loves me, and I knew she would support me. So that's where I started. I signed my sister up the very first week I became a coach, but I actually didn't become Emerald for it was about the end of my first month. And I was overthinking it. I was thinking, well, my sister, it made sense to be a coach because she would become a coach for free because of the fact that she was military. But a coach doesn't have to be somebody who is just military and gets the fee waived, or somebody who wants to be a business. Anybody can be a coach. And one of the things that I love most about this business is that there are no minimum requirements. So you can be a coach without actually having to sell X amount of things each month or keep X amount of stuff on hand, or, you don't have to have X amount of new people coming in. You get rewarded when you do. Those are definitely things we recognize. Those are definitely things of being the business, but you don't have to. So to my husband, who definitely wasn't going to be building the business alongside of me, but absolutely would support me in my venture, became my next coach I enrolled. Because by enrolling him, I got my second coach. And that also helped me hit Emerald. That also got me 2 points closer to hitting Success Club because I enrolled him with a Shakeology HD order as well. but it was somebody who was just there to support me. My husband's still a coach of mine. I still build his business center, and I'm still able to capitalize in the business model because he was signed up so early on. So even if you don't understand all the ins and outs of the compensation plan, which, you know, we get into later, understand that having a spouse or significant other or a parent high up in your organization can really benefit you as you grow a team. So I wanted to have my spouse up there, and I had my sister that was my emerald and that got me my first two people. The next person that I talked to was I texted to my sister-in-law as well as my mom and my mother-in-law, and I let them know, these are my results. I think you guys would love Shakeology too. It's helping me with this. Do you guys want to try it out? And I began the conversations with them. Again, this wasn't, I've got all these recordings up here. This wasn't about them becoming coaches because they were going to build a business alongside of me. This was just getting those first couple people under my belt and enrolled. When I was able to do that, in my very first month, I qualified for Success Starters. So you may see this in some of the emails that you got from Beachbody after enrolling as a coach, but the Success Starter program, one of the biggest things is it helps you earn your ticket to Summit, which we're not having live this year, but hopefully we'll be back next year. So that ticket, it's a $300 value, and you earn that for free. The other thing that they just started this year with the Success Starter program is all Success Starters are eligible to earn a test group spot. So if you guys have ever seen a new program coming out and they share the before and afters of people who've already done the program before it actually launches, those are the test group participants. They used to hold those for elite coaches, and they would do other qualifications to earn them, and they switched the program around, which I think is awesome, and it gives new coaches. New Success Starters have the opportunity. Anytime, any new Success Starter, once you qualify, you are then automatically given a spot in the next test group. So obviously it's helping you get to your first, there's so many reasons, right? So you are getting your first 3 people, so you're earning back your investment. Your first 3 people, if 2 of them are coaches, you're also hitting Emerald, which is going to unlock the next level of the compensation plan, get you your first promotion, it's recognition. But then by hitting Success Club that first month, you're earning Success Starters. Hitting Success Club, month 1 Success Starters, 3 months of your first 6 hitting Success Club actually earned you that Summit ticket along with the spot. So I didn't say that clearly the first time. Success Starters is hitting it for 3 of your first 6 months. So those are our month 1 goals. We're going to talk a little bit more about how to get there. The business activity tracker, I'll show you mine because this is me, my type A-ness. I actually printed out a bunch of the business activity trackers from the back office, and then I bound them in, this is the Rise Up Planner. So it's just this, I actually took it apart in 2 pieces because it got really thick, but the Rise Up Planner, it was created by a coach, created by a coach for coaches. So it goes over a lot of the things and gives you a tracking mechanism so that you're not using a bunch of notebooks, not required, but it is something that I find really helpful. I took that planner to our local print shop, and I printed out a bunch of those business activity trackers, and I had them bound it. So that I have it with me at all times. So it gives me one place that I'm tracking all my activities, and that I'm also tracking the people who I'm talking with, so I don't lose track of anybody to, as from a business standpoint. The things that you see on this tracker, you'll see them here. You'll hear them referenced in nearly every single one of the national wake-up calls that the company puts on Mondays. You'll hear people mention these nearly every time they talk about what they did to reach success in their business. So I will tell you that the activities that we have as coaches, they're not hard activities to do. It takes time and discipline to do them day in and day out. So it's all about the consistency of building it. It's kind of like the, if you build it, they will come, and going and following through. Even if you're not seeing anything immediately, this is what I promise you every coach is doing every single day. So I want to run through them because I want you to understand what they all are, so that there's no question when it comes time for you to sit down and do a power hour of work, to go through and start building on, what these actions, what you need to be doing every single day. So this part is probably the easiest part for you, and that's work out and drink your Shakeology. And this comes down to being proof the products work. As much as you can take somebody else's before and after picture and say, look what my coach just did. I saw her picture. I'm blown away. I'm joining her boot camp. Come do it with me. They're going to mean so much more. It's going to mean so much more to somebody else when you say, this is what I did. because somebody else on your social media following or your friends that you're texting with or emailing out, they don't know me. So they just see me as somebody else's before and after pictures. But when you can share your personal journey, your story, your pictures, your results, and exactly what you did to get from point A to point B, how you're feeling, and that you can help them too, that speaks volumes. So being able to work out and drink your Shakeology is the very first thing on here, because you have to invest in yourself first. This is where you want to start. So this should be an easy one every day. Do your workout, do your Shakeology. Clearly there's rest days, but for the most part, these ones are kind of like the given to me. This section in here, this is what I just ran through in the power hour that I did for the team just an hour ago. And this is the connections that you're doing each and every day to actually grow your following and grow the connection, or grow your customer list. So the first thing is adding followers. Now, this isn't necessarily, I shared this before, but this isn't how many followers can I add in a short amount of time. This is how many quality followers can I add? Maybe you go to, a college or high school alma mater, or you go to a brand of clothing that you really like, or a boutique you really like, and you look at people who have similar interests as you, people who these bigger accounts maybe, or you can look at hashtags and you see who's using these hashtags, who's following these accounts that I like to follow, and who could I connect with. So this isn't hey, I just came to coach, do you want to come do this with me? This is literally the basics of, this person is like me, how can I connect with them? Maybe you like their style, you like the food that they're cooking, there's a recipe that they shared, they share a quote that you just really like and that resonates with you. This is finding those people and following them and having a conversation. This isn't something to overthink. This is I grabbed my phone, and today I went to, I can actually find it. It showed up when I first opened Goli Gummy. So Goli Gummies, they're apple cider vinegar gummies that I actually take myself, and I really like them. So I went to Goli Gummies, and I'm like, okay, who's following Goli Gummies? And I scroll down through, and I'm like, okay, I look for, if you guys are familiar with Instagram, like when you look at their pictures, so these are all the people who are following on the Goli Gummies, I look for people that have the red circle around them. Because if they have a red circle around them, they're more active on social media versus somebody who just has the social media and is not using it because they're using stories. So I look through and I see, can I respond to something on their stories? And then I go check out their page. Is this somebody who I actually might want to be friends with? And if it is, I'm going to follow them. I'm going to look at their grid, and I'm going to look at what they've posted, and I'm going to engage where I can. A common rule of thumb is 3-2-1, which means like 3 of their pictures, comment on 2, and follow them back. Now, don't do that if you don't like that person. Like, this isn't a check off the box so that I can move on to the next thing. This is genuinely how you find more people who are like you. So whether it's a brand that you like, a place you like to visit, whatever it is, I go to a bigger account, look at who else is following them, and look through those followers and see who can I engage with on their stories. Because if you engage on somebody's story, you actually end up in their inbox, which is pretty cool. So I engage on their stories and feel, where can I create this connection? And then the conversation is going to go where it goes, and you can kind of take it from there. But the whole point is follow new people and make those initial connections. This says 20 minutes. Maybe you do this for 5 minutes. Maybe you do it for 10. Maybe you do it for 20, or maybe you do it for 30. Depends on, I always say, like, what you're going to put in is what you're going to get out. How much time you have will depend on how long you spend on each activity. The goal is to do each of these things each day, though. So 20 minutes is probably a little bit longer than I spend. I probably usually do more of like the 10. But again, however long you have to spend on each activity. The next thing is making a social media post. This is where you're going to follow someone, and you know what? Before they follow you back, they're going to go look at your grid. And they're going to say, is this somebody who I would want to follow back? So you follow them, they're going to look at your grid, and they're going to make a determination whether they're going to want to follow you back. The posts that you make every single day that are showcasing who you are, not just as a coach, but who you are as a person, who you are as a mom, as a wife, as a sister, as a whatever, as a nurse, as a teacher, whatever you do outside of Beachbody, you want to make a post that shares all the ins and outs, your beliefs, your thoughts, your likes, your dislikes, so people can look at to me, your grid is your magazine cover. So when someone looks at it, they're going to see, who are you? And are you somebody they want to connect with? And they'll make a decision like that. So the consistency in doing a post every single day allows you to build up your cover letter, your magazine cover, so that when people come back and see what you have to offer, they know that whether or not you're somebody who's going to want to follow you, or they're going to see if you're somebody they want to follow back. Using Instagram stories has been huge for my business. I'm so grateful for these, but they came out a long time ago because they took it from, I need to post on my Facebook page or my Instagram page 5 times a day to share all the things I want to share, to I'm going to post on my grid one time. I post once a day. But on my stories, I can do stuff all the time because I don't filter them. They're not thought out. There's not a lot of text in them. I can talk real quick and give a couple stories. You want to have at least, I say, like 7 to 10 to 12 stories up a day. Now, I always do my workout. So in the morning, I get up, I do a 10-minute meditation, I write in my journal, and then I make my energize, and then I do my workout. I can make 10 stories off of that between what I'm doing there. And if you haven't yet started sharing workouts, maybe, I have a girl, she's like, I'm just not ready to share myself working out, but she'll share other pieces of what she's doing. She'll share that she's streaming it on her Apple TV in her basement. She'll share that her kids are right there with her. She'll share the energize she's drinking before she presses play. So sharing your daily life, sharing a daily life, which also includes your workout, what you're doing, all the things that we're talking here. You can take a screenshot of being on the call, like kicking off my new coach training, excited to see where this takes me. And the things that you share then allow people to be like, okay, well, she said she was doing this coaching thing, and apparently she's doing a training to do it. So she's legit and serious about this. It gives people more color and more understanding to what you're actually doing. So, sorry, I moved this thing around. So doing your stories, daily life, workout clips, product use, you don't want to like show your Shakeology bag and be like, love my shake so much. I always show my shake though. Like I'll show it once it's made, and it might be that I talk about chocolate covered superfoods, or it might be that I talk about my veggies for breakfast, or it might be that I say, fast food on the run, or my favorite choice for fast food. I talk about it in some way every day. Maybe it's sometimes like on Wednesdays, we have a 9 a.m. leadership call. So I usually have it sitting in front, and I'll take a picture of the Zoom up with all the people we're having the call with, but you can see it there. So sometimes I directly call it out. Other times it's just kind of there. But I share it every day. I share my energize every day. I share my shake every day. Call to actions. You don't want your grid posts, the posts that you actually have on your page, to be join my team, join my group, join my this, join my this. Let me know if you want more information. But to be honest, in my stories, I do it every day, because your stories are only up for 24 hours. So when you post something in your stories, not everyone's going to see them every single day. So I look at it twofold. One is, if somebody is seeing it every day, they're either going to get to the point that they stop following me because they're not interested, or they see it enough times that they're going to be interested. So to me, it's a win-win either way. I either filter out the people who don't want to be a part of it, or I find the people who really do and needed a little bit more understanding of what it is before they join. The other thing is, most people aren't watching every day. Most people don't watch all the stories every day because they're not on social media, because they're not building a business on social media the way we are. So don't assume that somebody else is seeing them every day. Keep showing up and sharing consistently, and do it on your end, and people will kind of decide on from their point if they're going to join in or they're not. But I honestly have a call to action in some form or fashion every single day. I also like to do recognition of my challengers. So when somebody sends me a message and simply says, I want more information, or okay, girl, I'm in, I screenshot that. The simple, hey girl, I'm in. And I'll put that up on my stories and be like, oh, boot camp's growing, super excited to start this next group off. Like, it just allows people to say, like, okay, like, to the person who's watching and not saying anything, other people are messaging her, so maybe I can message her too. So it just creates that, like, that idea that people are doing this and I want to do it too. I also like to showcase other people's results, because I don't want them to think like I'm an anomaly and that only I can do this. I want them to understand that what I'm doing, I'm actually helping other people get those results too, in fitness and in business. So when I have results to show, whether it's a physical transformation or a success one of my coaches has because, their paycheck covered their car payment that month or whatever it is, if someone tells me that, I take that screenshot and I share that in my stories too. So You can do recognition in so many different ways. If it's a simple message that someone will say, just want to let you know your post today really inspired me and I was having a rough day and you made me smile. Something like that, screenshot it, share it. People love to see their stuff being shared, for one, and it helps, other people say, okay, they're doing this, I can do it too. The next thing down here is responding to likes, comments, or views. Comments are the easy one. Somebody comments on your post, it's easy to say, okay, I'm all in. The hard one is when somebody is just viewing. So they're not necessarily saying to you, okay, I'm all in, but they're viewing your stuff. So if they keep coming back, what is it that they're coming back for? And then similarly, they're liking it. And you can be like, well, they only liked it. I said comment if you want more information. So if they liked it, they must not be super interested. But to some people, commenting on social media is like a no-go. They are not going to let anybody know that they're actually out there, engaging on social media. And that was me in the beginning. I'll be honest. I watched and scrolled and never commented on anything. So I realized that some people are just going to watch. So whether they're liking or commenting or watching your stories, all of those people are the people who I'm going to connect with. Now, if it was a post, so I actually had a transformation picture up yesterday. So to the people who had viewed or people who had liked my post that had the transformation picture, I sent them a message. I can actually tell you exactly what I said. Let's see what it was. So I said, hey, Heather, thanks for the love on my transformation pic. Always wild to think I was anti-home workouts for so long. Do you exercise at home too? So this was to a person who I've never talked to before. So I don't want to just say, thanks for the love of my post. Do you want to come join my boot camp? Because I don't know her. I don't know her goals. I don't know anything about her. So I started with a just thank you and connecting with her that way. Now to somebody else who maybe I go and I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl liked my post. She likes every single post. We've talked about joining 10 times and she's never pulled the trigger. To her, I might say, thanks so much for the love of my transformation pic. Wow, to think I was anti-home workouts for so long. I know we've been talking about getting you started. Is this a better time for you? So you can take it different ways, but the important thing is to acknowledge the fact that people are supporting what you're sharing. The whole idea of social media is to be social on social media. So when you're sharing stuff and people are liking it or watching your stories or engaging with, commenting, make sure you acknowledge that and respond back to them. So always do some sort of thank you. And then if it's somebody you're closer with, you can always ask them from the start, hey, thanks for loving my post. I'm excited to start sharing my journey through social media and connect with other people, other women, other whatever. Are you interested in learning more about what I'm doing? So you can tailor it to what you're talking about or what you're recruiting for. But this part is huge. You can actually see the biggest time allotted is to this one, because this is where you're actually having those conversations with people who are engaging with you. And if they're engaging with you, they might be interested in what you have to offer. The next one is the invite. So like I said, you don't want to initially just assume everyone liking your stuff needs like that they're going to, you don't want to just throw the invite down there, but there does, like if they're engaging on a post that has a call to action, then you might want to. So inviting might not be something you can do right now, depending on what your posts are. But if you've been sharing consistently and showing up and sharing your stories and sharing your posts and people are engaging and that you see that the same person is liking all your posts or the same person is watching all your stories, you can say, I saw you've been watching my stories for the last couple of days. Are you interested in learning more about what this group is all about? Or can I send you information about what this boot camp is? A lot of times you don't want to just you want to give them a question so that they have to respond back. And you can say, no big deal either way. I appreciate your support. Let them know you appreciate that they're watching your stuff, but also ask them if they're interested. A lot of people they're flattered that you want to, that you're asking them if they want to be a part of what you're offering. And then the last piece here is following up. And this is where the tracker, having, whether it's a planner or a notebook, having something written down is really key, because you're going to forget about people. You're going to have a conversation with someone and they're going to be like, send me more. And you're going to send it to them. And then they're not going to respond back and you're going to forget and you're going to keep doing your thing. And they're going to fall through the wayside when in reality, your message got lost in their inbox, or they picked up that message when they were sitting at the stoplight or sitting and waiting at their kid at the doctor's office or whatever it was. and then they forgot about it and they genuinely wanted to join you. They just got so busy. So the follow-up is huge, and it takes sometimes 1, 2, 10 follow-ups to somebody before they actually commit. But if somebody expressed interest to you, once they express, hey, can you send me more? They do not get taken off my follow-up list until they actually say, take me off your follow-up list. I'm no longer interested. So sometimes I will say, like we talked last month, you didn't join. Is this a better time for you? I know that we've been talking about this for a while. Is this something that you're still interested in? Is there something else you want to look into? Like, just acknowledging that they were interested and you have this option for them to get started with you. But the follow-up, having a follow-up process, this is something I probably did really wrong in the beginning, because I actually used to just scroll my Facebook messages or my Instagram messages, and I would just see who's the recent people that I can have a conversation with. And once I had a system down, it really helped me make sure that people didn't fall through the cracks and that I didn't forget about anybody. And then I had a system for following up with them. Does that all make sense? So this is like the bulk of your daily actions. And like I said, it's the way the times are listed here. You divvy it out based on how much time you have. The important thing is establishing the consistency of going through each of those activities. And then the bottom part of the business activity tracker, this is where contributing to your challenge group. So in the beginning, you might just be in your coach's challenge group. You don't necessarily have your own yet, and that's okay. Or maybe you're running your own, and that's great too. But contributing, you always want to be the best challenger. The way you show up is the way your people are going to show up. So if you're leading from the front, checking into your challenge group every day, showing your shake, sharing your workout, sharing your struggles and your strengths, your challengers are going to follow suit with you. So contributing to your challenge group, recognizing achievement within your challenge group. Again, I like to, if I have permission from them, or sometimes I'll black out their faces or their names, I'll share the achievements of my challengers through my stories. And honestly, people love to see it. They like to see that what they shared with you was something you were proud enough to share publicly. A lot of people really feel honored whenever that happens. And then just responding to questions. And this is, going through your inbox at the end of the day, like, who have I created conversations with, and following back through those questions to make sure you're answering everything and moving people along from interested to committed. That's getting your people results. And then the last thing is personal development. And I'll be honest, for the longest time, I didn't touch personal development. I didn't think I needed it. Even though it was something that my coach swore day in and day out we should be doing, I was like, oh, I'm too busy. Like, once I get through all those other things, I just don't have time for it. But honestly, 10, 15 minutes of reading a book that really changes your mind is so powerful. I actually have, this is just my stack of like recent Amazon finds that I haven't got into yet. Like, these have come in the last month. Some of them are short little daily devotional things. Ask for More. This was actually a book. Alex Carter, she spoke on our team call a couple weeks ago. She spoke on Beachbody's National Wake Up Call, which is how we found her. But she wrote this book, Ask for More, which is geared towards, asking people for more information, like asking in terms of building a business. So it's like for business owners, and how you ask people and ask them the right questions, so that you're, again, not trying to sell them on a thing, but really getting to the root of what their problems are, what you can provide a solution for, and doing it in a really great way. So her book, I've read pieces of it, but I haven't read it the whole thing yet. But that one was a really good one. And then Compound Effect is one you'll hear a lot of coaches recommend to start with. It just helps understand the basics of the business, and how the business all comes together, and that, these activities that might seem small, seemingly insignificant things, why all of them really matter is because when you compound them over time, day in and day out, that consistency really grows, and you can see, then you get to your prize at the end. But it's The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And then there was another one. What was the other one? I think I had it on Audible. I listened to it. High Performance Habits, Brendan Burchard. High Performance Habits was another good book. But honestly, we've got so many different book recommendations. Your coach may have recommended one to you. Darren Hardy's Compound Effect is always one I like to start with. And then there's an app, Audible. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but the Audible app through Amazon allows you to listen to books. So back in the day of actually taking my children to school or picking them up from school, I would just pop an earbud in. And in those 10 to 15 minutes that I was in the car or going to baseball practice when we still had sports or whatever it was, I would just listen to a book. And I would have one earbud in and the kids are just minding their own business. And I would just listen the same, instead of listening to music, I would listen to a book, and I could crank through books like really quickly, a book that I didn't necessarily need to be taking notes on, or a book that I might have read once, I might re-listen to, or I might listen to it and love it and then go back and read it. But the Audible app was really helpful, especially in the beginning until I got into the habit of reading more books. All right, so that's the business activity tracker. Do you guys know where to find it? If you guys have it. Yeah, so it's in the back office. You can always just search. There you go, Brandy, love it. You can also, the search function in the back office is pretty great too. So if you couldn't find it or you don't have it, I know I have a link in my team page, but if you just went in under, in the back office, log into your, Coach Online office, and there's a search tab. You can always just search business activity tracker, success club tracker, and it will come up. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is just crafting quality posts. So you want to really realize, like I said, mentioned before, our posts are our cover. It's what allow people to say, do I want to read deeper? Do I want to go deeper with this person? Do I want to connect with them and read more about what they have to say? It's not about the likes and the followers that you have. It's actually about the engaging and how can you add value to other people. And I always like to ask that to myself before I post something. Is this helpful? Is it hopeful? And how is it going to help somebody else? So yes, posting, I have found that when I post my workout, something about my workout every day on my personal Facebook page, but I wasn't really getting the engagement that on my Instagram page. I think it's just the platforms are different, and you might find your followers are different as well. On Facebook, it's more friends and colleagues and parents of my kids' friends and people I know more on a personal level. And Instagram is more driven by the aesthetics of the picture that you put up before they actually read the post. My Facebook is more family oriented. My Instagram is more, me oriented, to be honest, or my team, or it's just totally different. So I think about, how am I going to add value here and how am I going to add value here before I actually, share the content. One of the greatest activities you can do is sit down with a blank pen and paper and think, why did I become a coach? What was it? What is your goal with it? Was it a personal transformation that you had already? Do you have this vision that you want to create for yourself, for your family? Were you looking for a business? Were you looking for community? Do you want the financial freedom? Do you want an ongoing accountability partner so that you always stay committed to your goals? Honestly, take the time to think about it. I used to tell myself I don't have a story. I'm no one special. I'm just this mom who worked out from home, who started building a business. What makes me different from anybody else? And I had to dig it a little deeper. And I'm as the more I thought about it, I'm I actually had Crohn's disease. I had Crohn's disease. I used to pop a pill 3 times a day to manage my symptoms for Crohn's disease. And once I got started with this, I've been able to go med-free. So I was 7 months in, and now in August, it'll be 6 years that I will be off my medicine that I had taken 7 years prior, 3 times a day. So that is something that I kind of just brushed over, but that was a big deal. What other person who's popping a pill 3 times a day wouldn't give to be able to get rid of that part of their life? So think something that might just seem like it's no big deal, or maybe it's happened a long time ago and you don't really think it's going to be worth, whatever. There's so many things that go into it. So that's just one small piece. But I do recommend, and we actually have a team call, so I'm not going to go over it here, but I will. Katie Erston did it. Oh gosh, I think it was sometime in April, but it would be in the team call file within the team pages. But she went into a whole deep exercise on creating a web of things that make you, that you can talk about, because the workouts are great. Shakeology is awesome. But what's going to make somebody buy from you versus me or somebody else depends on your actual story. And I don't know about you guys, but I have an accounting background. So English wasn't my thing. I never liked to read. I certainly didn't like to write. Didn't have any training on taking photographs. So there arguably could have been a lot of things against me to starting a social media business about posting on your journey on social media. But I knew that what I experienced was something that other people would benefit from. So I started learning. And this was something that took a lot of time on my part to learn how to craft quality posts. There's a book called Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. This is this book, Building a Story Brand by Donald, the light's awful, Donald Miller. But he goes into more on, writing your story. And the idea isn't to say, hey, look at me. Your idea when you're sharing your story is that someone else can read it and say, why can't I? So I don't want to just say, I'm off my Crohn's disease medicine, go me, as much as if you've ever been someone struggling with managing a digestive disorder, I can tell you that that's, well, like, you have to be careful. I will say this too. Medical claims we cannot make. So I can never say that it cured me, but I can share my experience of what I found. And that goes with everything. Like if it's like anxiety, depression, any sort of medical thing, you always have to kind of put that caveat in there. But I can share my story and let people know it took me a month of drinking it every day before I was highly convinced that this was reducing my symptoms. Would you want to, if you want to try this risk-free for 30 days with a full money back guarantee, shoot me an email or drop into my inbox and I'll give you more information. So it's a way to say, this is like you're sharing your story, but you're doing so in a way that allows people to say, okay, if she can do it, so can I. And giving people that hope or that inspiration to get started on their own as well. So you have a platform, you have an opportunity to greatly impact so many people around you by simply sharing your story. And I can tell you there's no story too big or too small that people won't find hopeful and inspirational, and that you'll be able to then build your business off of sharing that. So I will pull Katie's recording up as well whenever I'm sharing this, because she really did a good job at going in to figure out what are the things that make me that I'm able to share. And I really just encourage you in the meantime just to think, what went through your head before you signed up as a coach? What were all those reasons why? And start writing those down, because all those little things become then the content for your post to share later on. So like I said, one post a day is all you need to do. You don't need to flood your feed every single day with a ton of posts. One a day is plenty. 5 to 10 stories, depending on, I often now have more than that, because I share clips of my workout and before workout and after my workout, because that's become a big part of what people relate to me with. They've told me they like to see the workout. So I know that's something that I want to keep doing. Always think, add value, what you're sharing, how are people going to learn from that? Giving more than you can take. If you've got a recipe, share the recipe. Tell people, oh my gosh, I just made Brussels sprouts with bacon in the air fryer. It was so simple and so easy. I'm going to put the recipe on the next story. Take a screenshot of that. You literally on your notes on your phone can type up the recipe, share it to your stories. And then people are like, oh my gosh, this girl has really great, simple recipes. If cooking's your thing, share that. If fitness is your thing, maybe you say at the end of my workout today, I did, 3 reps of this move to really work this body part. I'm going to show you in the next story. Take a screenshot of that if you want to enhance your next workout. So if workouts are your thing, add more value with the workouts. If nutrition and cooking is your thing, add that. If finding ways, there was a girl, Tasia, she was sharing ways to help your children cope with the changes when we were all homebound with COVID. She has a background with working with children with learning disabilities. So she took that niche thing that she has and she shared that. So you can think about all different things that you can share, but you want to be giving more than you take. A big thing that I like to share is inspirational things. Like I like to give people hope. A big thing is we can do hard things. I use that phrase a lot in my posts. No matter how hard things are, like life's hard, we can do hard things. We're better together. That's another thing I say a lot. So a lot of my posts are centered around why your workout matters, why showing up every day matters, why your health matters more than anything else. So some of this might take some time until you figure out your voice, but that will come, the more you do it, the more you practice, the more you see what are people responding to when you post. When they respond well and engage well, it's something that you want to do more of. Just don't be a so what post. This was something that always stuck with me, but I learned long ago. And that was just along the lines of, when you post, you don't want someone to read it and say, so what? So what? Is it something they can do too? Is it something they can click to learn more about? Is it something that, some things are literally just going to give them hope and inspiration, and that's fine too. That's good. But you want to make sure that you have that whole, that complete post, that when someone's at the end of it, they don't say, so what? and you can ask yourself that question as well. Grow your following. That kind of goes back to the actions that we were talking about through the business activity tracker of growing, adding new followers and engaging each day. And then your IG bio matters. The last thing you want to put in your Instagram bio is Team Beachbody Coach. I can tell you that right now, because you don't want to just be Team Beachbody Coach. You want to be you as a person. So I actually updated my link here. Linktree is that you can have one link in your Instagram bio. You also don't want this to be your Team Beachbody Come Shop With Me link. Again, you are here to create conversations and help people specifically based on their needs. So you don't really want them to just click a link to shop with you, but you do want them to be able to connect with you. And you don't want them to just see, oh, you're a coach and just move on. You want them to see you as a person and what you can do for them. So with the Linktree, so you can see like linktr.ee, or I now have Smart Bio. They do the same thing. They're both free websites that you can go to. And when you click on what's in my Instagram bio, it actually brings you up to a variety of things. It can, learn more about my boot camps, learn more about coaching with me. I have other things on mine, but those are the two things that I would recommend starting with. But if you create something like a Linktree account, then you can click here and address them with more than one thing. Maybe you've got great recipes. You can say, here's my favorite clean eating recipes. Like, you can add as many things as you want. I have a shop my Amazon favorites on there. So you can do different stuff with it. But I like it because you only can have one link in your bio. And by using something like this, it gives you the opportunity to have one link that then gives them different options. So you can click on mine, or your upline probably has one of these too, that you can kind of look at it. But again, you don't want to put Team Beachbody link here, because you want it to be, ways that they can work with you, not just go order from you. And then you don't want it to say anything about being a Team Beachbody coach, because you're more than that. You are you as a person. One of the things you do is coach. And if that's something they want to work with you on, they can learn more about it here. All right. So sharing your journey. If you need a little help coming up with things to share, this is just a little outline of stuff that you can use. Maybe on Monday, you're sharing an inspirational thing. Tuesday, it's a transformation. And like I said, your transformation of your own is always going to be the most valuable thing to add, because it's you, and the people who follow you already know and trust and love you. So your personal transformation is huge. I try to share my transformation. And this is a bad example because it's not here. But if at any point you open my Instagram, I want and there's 12 pictures that show up, I want my transformation there. So that just allows people at any point when they go to look at your account, they're going to see what you have to offer. I always want a transformation there so they can see that that's a part of me. I've changed over time. Wednesday, maybe you're adding a value, a tip, sharing a recipe or something. Thursday is our payday in coaching. So a lot of times Thursday is a great time to share something about what coaching has done for you, whether it's physically, mentally, financially. Friday, Fun Fact Friday, a random fact about you. Random fact, I hate pickles. I hate all pickles. Anybody else? I don't have a planned out thing for you, but I don't like pickles. Make a post about it and see who else doesn't like pickles. Or sometimes I'll do 5 random things about me. I've noticed a bunch of new followers on here. For Fun Fact Friday, I'm going to share 5 things that only my closest friends know, and kind of list them out and say, do we have anything in common? So it's a way to get to know your followers. It's a way to introduce and share more about you. And it's just something light. That has nothing to do with coaching, nothing to do with the challenge group, nothing to do with joining your team. It's about you. Because people are going to connect with you above anything else. So you want to always be, you want to be sharing the things that we do as coaches. You want to be able to share your journey. You want to share, that you have opportunities for them to join you, but you also want to continue sharing you as a person. On the weekends, I'm usually sharing something that I'm doing at home with my family or traveling or whatever it is. And just keep in mind, you don't want to use stock photos from Beachbody. You want them to be you. You want them to be pictures of you that you're taking, not just curated pictures that Beachbody sends out. And you don't want to say Beachbody coach again, because you want the people to connect with you, not necessarily the Shakeology bag that you're sharing. A couple of the apps that I use on my pictures, Snapseed. Snapseed, I had to look at it to see what it was because the name caught me off for a minute. So Snapseed is what I'll use to quickly lighten or darken a picture. Rarely do I darken it. Usually I'm lightening it. But I work out in my basement, so my pictures are usually darker. So I'm always lightening them, and I use Snapseed for that. I can also crop with that. Lightroom is where I use a preset. So I bought presets a long time ago. You can find them on Etsy. If you scroll Instagram stories, you may have seen them before where it will say like 1, 2, 3 presets. I know Melanie and Katie through Chic Influencer, they actually have some Chic Influencer presets. And what a preset does is it just gives an overlay and colors to your pictures so that they all have a uniform look. So that it just kind of gives a consistent filter to them. So they all look, not only say look the same, but they have the same color theme going to them. Layout, unfold. Unfold is a really good one for Instagram stories, that you can create different Instagram stories with it. Word swag, that's what I use for like this white picture here, just a text thing. Pick, play, post, you can mirror images. So I like to mirror images, or I'll do a collage sometime where it's the same picture, but it's three of the same. And I might have one zoomed in a little bit more than the other, and it just gives it a different look. But those are the apps that I typically use, whether it's, lightening, changing the filter, or adding text, or mirroring things. These are the ones I use the most. All right, so inviting. This is the one people tend to leave by the wayside. So they start going, they start sharing. It's really, you're getting comfortable posting. You're using your Instagram stories. You've got great filters and you figure all this stuff out. But what I see too often is people fall short on the actual invite. Like I said, people are really quick to watch your stories or maybe even like your posts. But the actual act of saying, I want to join you, I want more information, is a lot harder for people. So the inviting is key, because that is how most people are going to come into your business. They're going to come in because you see them and you ask them if they want to be a part of it. You don't want to prejudge anybody. I can tell you, my coach didn't invite me because she felt like I didn't need to lose weight. She's like, you're relatively thin. I don't really think that you needed to lose weight. She never invited me. I reached out to her for more information because she consistently showed up with these inviting posts that I was able to say, okay, like I was the rare one who was like, okay, like you're asking me to join, I'm going to take you up on it. Most people need you to invite them directly in their inbox with a personal message to them. So it's important to know that your business will not grow without it. And you might be able to make a couple posts this month, maybe even next month, that say, this is what I'm doing, who wants to join me? And you might have some close friends, family members, whatever, that are going to jump in with you. And you might hit that success club the first month. You might even hit it next month without actually having to go out and invite people. But it will eventually change, whether it's from the get-go or 2-3 months down the road, where you're going to have to jump into people's inboxes. One way that I like to do it is using voice message. For one, it's way more efficient to just voice it over than try to type out the most perfect thing. People can sense your excitement, and they get to see that you are in fact a real person, that it's not just some auto pilot just sending out bulk messages to people. So be bold and get excited. We do have different scripts. I know I sent Brandy, like I have an inviting script that I have. Those are really great, especially in the beginning, to read over, but also realize that you if it doesn't sound like you, people they're gonna realize it's not you. So it's not gonna be authentic. So check out the scripts that your coach shares with you, and then take a spin on them and make them a little more personalized, so it sounds like your voice that's coming at you. And don't overthink it. If you sit there and say, oh my gosh, like I feel like I should invite, but I don't want to invite, and you sit there and then you're just not getting it, just don't overthink it. Send the quick voice message. If you have questions, ask for help, because honestly, this is new. It should be new, and you should have questions. So as you have questions, just ask for them. Your coach is more than happy to help you, I promise you. I wanted to share just this example if you need some example text of what to say. So this one is, I joined this virtual accountability group. We're doing this new bar program. That's what I'm personally doing. I'm blown away. I'm determined to get these last 10 pounds off that managed to creep in during this quarantine craze. I found my coach on Instagram. Hers were amazing. Do you want to do it with me, with us? So this is more like, you don't have results yet because you haven't done it yet, but this is what caught your eye, and you're simply saying, let's do it together. This one here is more along the lines that I have to tell you, you know how much I love health and fitness. I joined as a coach. I believe in their products. I want you to be my first customer and testimonial. So you're straight up asking them, join me because I want you to be my customer. This is kind of how I approached all of my family in the beginning, was more along this lines. Can you be my first person? Couple examples is people who are watching your stories like, hey, thanks for love watching my posts, or love on my post, or watching my stories, whichever one it is. It's not always as easy, but I'm on a mission too. Now this would be, what are you on a mission to? Maybe you're on a mission to help, one more person the way that you were helped. Maybe you're on a mission to get your very first client testimonial. Maybe you're on a mission to grow your team because you see where this business can take you and you want to grow a team of coaches. You're on a mission to what? And then you can ask them, are you following me for this, or this, or are you interested in learning more about what I do? This one is, just what you would send to somebody that they caught your attention. Your feed is so inspiring. I think I just blew up your page. This is where you see somebody, you follow them, you're liking on their stuff, you're commenting. You have such a powerful message. I'm always looking for people like you to join my team. Have you ever considered coaching? So totally different language, and I'm happy to share this PDF with you guys as well when I share the recording, but it just gives you some example text to get people signed up. And like I said, coaches, this was said in the very beginning of getting to Emerald in your first month, coaches don't have to be people who are going to work the business and get on calls on a Wednesday afternoon like you. Your coaches can be anybody. So when you're talking about getting people signed up, you simply ask, would you be interested in signing up as a coach, getting 2 to 3 friends to do this with you? You could get your whole challenge pack paid for. So not only are you going to get a coach signed up under you, but it allows these people to say, well, heck, I'm going to do it. And then if I too bring 2 or 3 of my friends along with me, I can get this paid for too. The same way I'm saying for you guys, your goal is to get yours paid for. This isn't necessarily saying to them, you're going to be a coach like me, but it starts planting that seed that they too, because being a coach, you can earn the commissions back as well. So this I found has been helpful in just planting that seed to people when they first get started, of having the extra accountability of having friends with them, as well as getting some other people to do it with them. And I just want to kind of share this last thing. People are going to tell you no. So I waitress my way through high school. I waitress my way through college. And a lot of times people told me no. You want dessert? No, thank you. Do you want coffee? No, thank you. And I never cried about it. They just didn't want it. So as you're going through and you're talking to people and you're inviting them, take the emotion out of it. I always say that somebody telling me no doesn't hurt my business, but anytime somebody tells me yes, gives me the opportunity for my business to grow and for me to make a greater impact. And that's what I keep in the back of my mind when I'm inviting people. I am told no and ignored every single day, and I don't get upset about it. I don't do it from a place of, come buy this from me. I do it as a way as my life has been abundantly blessed by this opportunity, and it's the only sensible thing to pay it forward and offer the same opportunity to other people. So when you go about it in that way, when people tell you no, it's not doesn't hurt. They just told you no. The same way you told a waitress probably plenty of times that you didn't want to try their special, that you didn't want to try their coffee, that you didn't want the dessert. People are going to tell you no to your business too. Don't take it personally. Take the emotion out of it and look at it always from the angle of, you have a gift with this business and an opportunity to greatly change someone else's life with it. So that is the end of what I want to talk to you guys. Again, your goals in your first month: get Success Club, 3 people. That's going to help you earn your investment back. That's going to help you get Success Club. If 2 of those 3 people sign up as coaches, that'll also help you get to Emerald, which is your very first rank advancement. Hitting Success Club in your first month will earn you month 1 of Success Starters. Doing that 3 months out of your first 6 will get you a spot in the next test group and your ticket to Summit next year. So that is everything I have for you guys. Like I said, when I share this, I'll share the slides as well. So if you want to look back through some of those example wordings, and if you have questions at any point in time, whether I'm your upline or not, feel free to reach out and ask. I'm happy to help and excited for you guys as you progress through this first month as a coach. So thank you for getting on. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you guys later.